Hey everybody, welcome back to the Realtor Show. Again, it's the Realtor Show powered by Keller Williams. Today, I have a very special guest with me, the brand new CEO of Keller Williams Worldwide, Chris Heller. So, Chris, thanks for coming on the show.
My pleasure. Good to see you again, Dan.
And I'm fortunate enough to work at Keller Williams Irvine. And Chris, actually, for how many years did you own Keller Williams Irvine?
Actually, it was just I just took it over about 2 years ago.
Oh, okay, so since I've been there, Chris has been the owner. Now, can you tell us when and why you decided to get into the real estate profession?
Well, I got my real estate license in 1983. I was 20 years old, and I did it for a summer job after my sophomore year in college, and I was working in the timeshare industry. Um,
Ah,
about 3 years later, I met a real estate broker who recruited me for 3 years. And after 3 years, I finally gave in and said, "Okay, I'll give it a try." And that was at the end of 1988, and that's when I got into real estate. I really got talked into it.
mm-hmm. And what did you like about it as soon as you got in? Like steep learning curve, or did you pick it up right away?
You know, what I liked the challenge of it, because I like challenges. Um, I liked that it was up to me whether I was going to succeed or not,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked there were no limits on what I could achieve.
Now, what other careers were you considering getting into out of college? Did you consider anything else?
You know what? I was still in college, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do while I was in college. I went into college thinking I wanted to be in accounting, and after a couple of accounting courses, I knew that that wasn't for me. Um, so when I got my license in 1983, I kept going to school, working part time, working full time, going to school full time, and then as soon as I got into residential real estate, I knew this was my career. This is what I was going to be doing.
When you first started as a realtor, what did your typical day look like?
Well, back then there was no real training and there was no one to turn to for training, so I sort of had to figure it out the hard way. Um, the only thing I knew that I could do would be to outwork the competition. So my typical day looked like I would get in early, like at 6:30 in the morning,
Wow.
uh, and I would work all day into the night, and would do that pretty much 7 days a week. But it again, I just didn't know any better. Knowing what I know now, I you can work smarter and not just harder.
Mm-hmm. And so you eventually built your own team. Did you join a team first, or did you just start your own team?
Back then there weren't the concept of teams didn't exist. So at the end of my first year, I did hire an assistant, and that was very unusual.
Mm-hmm.
In my marketplace in San Diego, I didn't know, I'd never heard of anyone that had an assistant. And when I hired one, the other agents were sort of looking at me funny, like, "What, you hired an assistant?" But it just made sense to me that the whole concept of leverage, although I didn't use the term leverage or probably understand it at the level I do today, it was this common sense that I could hire someone and pay them an hourly wage to do a lot of the things I didn't want to do or wasn't very good at doing, so I could spend more time in front of buyers and sellers.
Mm-hmm. And you said one of your advantages was your ambition, your hunger. So what kind of activities did you do early on to generate leads?
Um, Actually, it's all I did do was just work on lead generation for the majority of each day, every day. Uh,
Okay.
it was telephone prospecting and door knocking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched a YouTube video of you. There was a lady interviewing you. I can't remember her name now, but it was like a behind the scenes look at your day, and you were calling a bunch of expireds that day, and the ones who weren't answering were going in a bin. The ones that did went in a separate bin. And a lot of realtors out there, they're struggling because they're not able to generate enough business for themselves. And I think that every agent should watch that video because it shows how you got to be successful. I mean, it didn't just happen overnight. It's consistently doing what was in that video over and over and over again, right?
Absolutely. There's if an agent says they're having trouble generating business or they're not generating business, they're just not working. There's more business out there than they can get their hands on.
Right.
More people thinking about buying and selling than they could ever possibly service. They just need to get in front of more of those people. and which
Mm-hmm.
means they need to be talking to more people.
Mm-hmm. And so, what attracted you to Keller Williams? Was it reading the Millionaire Real Estate Agent?
Actually, it was. Someone told me about Keller Williams. I hadn't really heard of them because they really didn't have a presence. But that person gave me a copy of Gary's book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And when I read that book, it was a real eye opener. I mean, I was actually blown away to learn that there was a company that was teaching agents what I had learned. It just had taken me 16 years the hard way to figure things out that were right there in that book.
Mm-hmm.
And 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 that caused me to be very intrigued and want to learn more about this company that was doing things the way I did them and believed, that business should be done the way I was doing it.
Yeah, they were so ahead of their time. That book, that piece of content, I mean, you see internet marketers now. I mean, this video is content for building brand awareness. That book was like the original content for brand awareness. I've spoken to hundreds of agents who have said that they joined Keller Williams just because of that book. So Gary was definitely way ahead of his time when it came to writing that book and promoting that book. And basically, that is like the brand still to this day of Keller Williams.
Yeah. They're in the process of writing the revised edition, MREA 2.
Ah, okay. What do you see for Keller Williams going forward in this new chapter of Keller Williams with you as CEO?
Well, it's not just me. It's John Davis, our president, and together, we're just excited. We get the opportunity to work with great leadership, with a great staff at Keller Williams Realty International, and to be part of a great company. And the company's already great. So, our job is just to help us grow to the next level, and we're excited to get the opportunity to do that.
And something I kind of skipped over because we're short on time is your involvement with Keller Williams International, right? Keller Williams Worldwide. So how is the real estate industry? Because we all here in the States are used to talking about it here in the States, but is the rest of the world kind of catching up?
Oh, I don't know if I'd say it's catching up. It varies around the world. In some countries, they're many years behind from an industry standpoint.
Hmm.
They're marketplaces that are just evolving, and industries that are just at the inception or near the inception of their growth. And in other countries, it's very well developed and very similar to how it is here. So it just depends. But I would say in the majority of countries, the real estate industry is probably similar to what ours was 20 or 30 years ago.
Hmm. All right. And as we wrap up, I ask every guest on the show, do you have any favorite books that you recommend to up and coming agents or just agents looking to increase their business?
Gosh, I've a ton of favorite books. Obviously, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and then Gary's other books, The One Thing and Shift. Those are three, mandatory reads.
Mm.
Um, if they're going to be building a team and looking at leadership, then John Maxwell's books on leadership, the five levels of leadership, um, those those type of books. Um, boy, Positioning and the 22 Irrefutable Laws of Marketing. Those are two books that I would absolutely recommend to agents.
Hmm.
Um, that'll keep most people busy for a little while.
Yeah, that definitely will. And take us through a typical morning of yours. Do you meditate? Do you work out? People want to know.
I work out every morning. I get up at 5 o'clock, and by 5:30, I'm working out. And I just always feel better when I do that and get that done first thing in the morning. Sort of goes back to that old adage of strong body, strong mind.
Thank you for your time, and I look forward to doing this again with you.
Dan, the pleasure is mine, and I look forward to our next conversation, our next video.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. This is Dan and Chris Heller from therealtorshow.com. Take care.